at my friend Victor's house, and he's got a colony of ants moving into his house. Or this little shed thing here. I'm getting texted by someone. Alright. These might actually be Lasius claviger, or... Actually, no, these might be Lasius flavus.
That's a huge colony.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the really big queen cocoons here.
Mm-hmm.
They're otherwise really small. Neat. So these are Lasius alanius. Or maybe they're near Niger because they're nesting underground. But wherever they are, they're different. I don't see any alates, though.
Don't kill her by putting the rock down.
You don't want it?
No.
Okay.
I have nothing to store them in.
I have a bunch of tubes.
Yeah, still.
Okay. So we randomly found a Lasius queen. I want to say Lasius alanius or Neo-Niger. Probably Neo-Niger just because they're in soil. And her colony. And here, it's odd finding these near the surface area. Especially without piles of eggs. This is Japanese Stiltgrass. It's an annual that grows happily in the shade. And it invades forests. It really changes what grows down there. It makes looking for ants and other things a lot more difficult for us. Now I do notice there's slightly more sun exposure in that spot over there than this spot over here where we've come from. But it's only a matter of time before it invades completely, so it's non-native plants like this that I really don't like to find out in places, because come back in 10 years and this whole place will be carpeted in green. This is a parasitic plant. I believe it's called Indian pipe. And there's another patch of it right here. You can see it's white because it lacks chlorophyll. So the flowering part of it is all that comes up to the surface. Neat. They have seeds to something in their nest.
That's cool.
Yeah, some of the plants back here, they have Eliasum on their seeds.
Nice.
Just looking at them, I don't know what they are though. They don't look ripe, is the other thing. But that's cool. I mean,
The mold?
yeah, so you don't find ants usually in wood that has mushrooms sprouting out of it. The spores just discourages them from nesting in there. They make some cool structures.
Like 2 feet deep.
Probably. This mound we're standing on, you know.
Yeah. Sucks there wasn't any queens.
Yeah. Alright, I need to get some pictures of these. Maybe you're running with eggs, so broke their nest somewhere.
Well, I don't see any of the Japanese species here.
Vala something or other?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. We did find these with them, though.
Yeah. Well, they like to nest and, yeah. Things like this.
Yeah, dead wood. Yeah, this is really water rotted. I'm surprised we're not finding more inside of this, actually. Oops. Springtail, I think. Bodied arthropods.
Oh, wonderful.
What? Oh, you can't keep them? You're annoyed?
Yeah.
I mean, you can feed them like dead insects and they'll eat it. But
Don't they need like carbohydrate sources?
no, it's just sugar water. Actually, no, I don't think so. They just go for flowers, or I never see them in flowers, so they probably don't go for sugars at all.
Huh.
Or if they do, they get them from like bees or whatever. Pollen scraped off of logs and stuff.
Well, just like find like a cold hardy, add a colony or something.
That would be nice.
Like, hey guys, you can name this colony of Atta D's nuts.
I was thinking Atta Pennsylvanica would be,
Nah, fuck that shit. They're gonna name it after me. If I discover it, we're calling it D's nuts.
You'd have to have a Latin version of that. D's nutsae.
D's nuts? Yeah.
D's nutsae.
D's nuts. Hey, you know what? That works.
Yes. You just add a letter I at the end of it there. Oh, they got a larva in here too. That's cool. So these are either Ponera pennsylvanica or one of the Hypoponera species. To tell them apart, you actually need to look underneath the waist segment.
I hear what you were saying.
I'm speaking more to the camera than
Okay.
you. Yeah. Anything's more fun with people. Okay, well that might be something else there.
You sure you don't want to get a sample?
Yeah, sure. Get a sample.
You know what?
I'll just have a black frame that says earmuffs or something when that comes up. No, I think that is a Temethrax.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a different species of Temethrax. They look similar, though. Oh, there's a frog.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Alright, I couldn't record that, but there's a frog there.
Oh, you motherfucker. Yeah, we'll just like sneak in like a beehive somewhere in here.
Well, you put a sign up, maybe no one will bother you. Like that. Actually, it's kind of funny because here's a host plant to them right down here, and they have so. Oh, spooked it.
Yeah, see this wineberry bush? The one I cut down was about that size. What are those? That didn't open yet.
Those that didn't open yet. I don't know. Actually, that looks more like a blackberry or something. Pretty when they fly. Alright, so these are Monomorium. And we're going to see... This is their nest, right? Looks like it, maybe?
Yeah, right
Kinda? Okay.
Right there.
So I'm just curious if there's any queens in here. Actually, would you like to try and step in over there? I can't do that one-handed. As deep as you can, just going to lift up. And
It's all rocky.
all rocky. Okay, we can't do that. When it's sandy, though, sometimes you can get this shovel all the way down, and there's like 10 queens right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, these are Monomorium. Alright, this is partridge pea. It's a kind of aggressive spreading annual, native, but to get ants to not steal nectar from the flowers, they actually have a little pore on their plant somewhere to try and basically it feeds the ants. Tried growing this in my yard one year. It grew, but it didn't really take. Doesn't always work, obviously, because I see ants inside the flowers. At my friend Victor's house, and he has a plant of Queen Anne's lace that's growing in his front garden here. This is a member of the carrot family, and I noticed on this flower head he's got 2 black swallowtail caterpillars here slowly eating the leaves. They're very tiny at this point, but a little later on they get quite a bit bigger. And over here, he's got another one on the other side. They seem to like the flower heads to this. Queen Anne's lace is not a native plant, but it is used as a host plant to the black swallowtail, which is native, so it has some ecological function to it. Let's get back to the main flower, because it's a little windy here. They don't get a whole lot of pollinator activity because the flowers are actually really, really tiny. Which you could see if the plant would stop moving around here. But anyway, Queen Anne's lace. Alright, not ant related, and sorry for the sound of an air conditioner, because I'm right next to an air conditioner. But I felt like sharing this just because it's kind of neat. So this is the Spicebush shrub that I have in my yard, and it's kind of open, airy kind of thing. Sometimes gets Spicebush swallowtails. I don't see any this year, so that's a shame. But years ago, I planted one of our native passion flowers. This is called Passiflora Ludia. I think it's Ludia. I hope it's Ludia. Anyway. Wow, the Spicebush really smells good when you push up against it. Anyway. It's like a very small, non-aggressive vine. You can find it growing as far north as Missouri. For years, I thought this plant died. One year it grew up nice and big, and then, over the summer, it just died back to the ground. And I didn't even notice it growing this year because the foliage only recently changed color. It blended in really well with this thing. And passion flowers, they're usually very aggressive spreading, but this one, not so much. You see the flower is also absolutely tiny, compared to passion flowers you see in stores and stuff. So, yeah, it's just a neat little vine. I would never have noticed. Apparently this has been growing up through this shrub for quite a while here. And I first noticed this species when I was at the Mont Cuba Center, where they have hundreds of them growing up along a fence. And I thought, well, those leaves are kind of neat and charming. It's like a different take on ivy, kind of. So I thought that was really neat to have. Another plant-related thing. This is a Verbena. And I didn't plant this. This is a biannual, and I remember planting this 7 years ago. It came up, flowered, that was about it. So this is the first time. Yeah, the cicadas are noisy too. Sorry about those. Sounds of summer. But anyway, this is the first time that I've seen Verbena come back, so something I did to the soil here triggered one of them to germinate. not a whole lot else happening here. I've been seeing monarch butterflies flying through the yard. I don't see any caterpillars, though, and it's kind of odd, because I definitely have like 4 or 5 of these butterflies just kind of hanging around my yard. Like, I find them on the Joe Pye weed and stuff, but they don't seem to be laying any eggs, as far as I can tell. And, of course, now the air conditioner shuts off. Great. Anyway, so moving on here. No monarchs, no monarchs. Yeah, if I find any, I'll come back and show off what those are. You can Google search a monarch butterfly, everyone grows them. I have here the actual passion flower, which produces fruit. This is the other native species. It's actually very aggressive spreading. And I'm going to try growing it just to see how aggressive it is, because they're not usually this good this far north. Oh, crap. Oh well, anyway. So this is what a passion flower looks like traditionally, more when you think of a passion flower. I didn't mean for that to snap off, so shoot. But anyway, it's a very intricate flower. And I actually do see ants stealing nectar from these from time to time. Usually it's a Camponotus or something. You can see the bee walks along in here to get nectar, and the pollen gets placed on the bee's back via the pollen anthers. And that gets transferred to the female parts, which I assume are those there, and that turns into a fruit, which is edible. A problem with Passiflora incarnata, which is this species here, they are extremely aggressive. It's also called maypop because it may pop up everywhere. And I'm not kidding about that. This, even though it's a native plant, it's considered a noxious weed where it occurs. But anyway, I thought I would give those a try. I need to find some spot in the yard here to plant it. Kind of getting different types of ironweed, different things. I haven't updated in a while. It's kind of a shame here. Let me just throw that out there. Kind of pretty, but anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna go walk around the neighborhood now because I hear thief ants are flying. So hopefully I find those. Anything I can end on here? Yeah. Anyway, all right. I'm going for a walk. Yep, here we are. Solenopsis Molesta. Didn't take long. I'm just a block away. Actually, I was walking through flights of them. Ooh, here we are. This is a neat thing to see. Very commonly, this species is parasitized by nematodes. And you see the queen here with the black gaster, or both of them. They have nematodes inside of them that make them basically infertile, I imagine. But you see from the same colony, you have the other kind here. Nice big colony, too. I'm going to walk a dog and record at the same time here. That's Mandy. Just from leaning down on the grass, I already have like 5 of these things crawling on me. Unfortunately, she's not a good one, so. And I wish I could record something. They have nuptial flights that are basically at eye level. So they're just taking off 5 feet off the ground, and that's about it. See if I can catch them now. I could record them mid-flight, but I don't think this camera will let me do that. Yep, there's one. Right there. Need to be careful when picking these up, which I need to do. Hopefully this gets on. Probably didn't show up at all, but basically I just licked my finger very carefully and dabbed her ever so slightly. She's rolling around in there. Let's see, I can get her in focus. Yes, there she is. So she's in the tube now. The reason I did that method, so I'm basically not going to be looking at anything because I can't do this and walk at the same time. The reason I did that is because if you use an aspirator or other method, or you're not very careful when picking them up, you can rip her gaster right off or damage her internally. They're very very sensitive ants with that. Where's she at here? All the way to the side. Alright, I'm gonna try and find some more. You get the idea. It's kind of showing up. Dog's spelling me. Yeah, so I just walked through a swarm of them, and I have them on my shirt. Andy, get them. If the autofocus would like to cooperate. Hello. So I found a patch of sidewalk where there was like 50 queens just hanging out, so I decided to collect a few. Trouble is, there's like a very busy road there, and there's a park, and people are like staring at me and start asking me, what am I doing? I'm happy to tell them, but in the meantime, I kind of just pretended I was like tying my shoe or sandal. Yeah, but anyway, I have plenty of these, so I don't know, like what I would do with 50 of these. But anyway, maybe I should start an ant store or something. Anyway, so these ant queens, I caught like 10 or 20. I'm going to catch a bunch probably at the blacklight tonight, because they do fly into the night. But I'm finding like little balls of swarming ants every so often, and they're really hard to film. Mostly because there's like people's houses in the background. People are out walking their dogs, and people are out walking and staring at me. So if you suddenly like hear police sirens and this video just suddenly cuts out, it's probably because other ants are alerted to this swarm now. This is a tetramorum catching a male. So this is a male. Crawling around on my arm, which he just landed on. Probably because I walked through a swarm. Can I? No, I can't. Okay. Yeah, we're back where that first swarm was, because I walked one way, then walked the other. On purpose. Can't quite get it. Alright. So we just walked through a swarm, and I can't get the autofocus to lock on to anything. And, oh, now I have a extra male on my hand. But anyway, see if I can catch any right outside this nest coming up here. Yep, right out front of my house, a few have landed. So, it actually might storm later. There's like a high humidity thing coming in, which may have helped trigger the flight. It also rained very recently. There's probably a colony around here, because I can see to be a worker. Might have a nematode in it too. Anyway, let me catch this queen. Oh, there she is. Snatched it right out of the air. Camponatus Pennsylvanicus with a male. It's nighttime, so the males are all starting to land, and they need to find places to hang out for the night. Usually tucked away in leaf litter or under tree bark or something. If I turn my blacklight on, though, I'm pretty sure several alates are going to show up. It would seem Aphnagaster are also flying. These do not show up to black lights. I know that for a fact, even after years of trying. Each colony produces maybe a couple dozen queens, and then maybe 100 males or so. And that's about it. They fly during this very brief time where the sun is almost down. And you can usually find the queens running around in leaf litter the day after. Wish it wasn't so dark out. This would make for a better video. Easier to get contrast and such. So there's a queen there with a Worker very interested in her gaster. I imagine the males have already taken off. Oh, here she go. Come on, camera. And she took off, I think. Let's see. With the aid of my cell phone camera, I'm able to actually drag this out a bit more. Here they do fly at night. A bunch of workers kind of encouraging their reproductive sisters to hang out. They don't show up the black lights though, which is odd. At least I've never heard of it happening. Let's not say it doesn't happen. Maybe it's because there's so few reproductives overall. I never that big of a flight. Now, there's a male. They're slightly smaller than the workers. I wonder if my flashlight's actually scaring them. Which might be the case. But anyway, these are Aphnogaster. Probably Aphnogaster rudis. Let's try and end on a queen, I guess. There we are. Don't see any really taking off, so maybe tomorrow would be a better day to look for these. I'm sure I have 100 colonies in my yard, I just can't find any but this one right now. We gonna take off? Maybe? Alright, I'm tired of holding my camera. So another species I caught today. This is a parasitic queen. I thought this would turn out to be Lasius murphyi. But it's looking more like Lasius pregandi. Or, not pregandi. Platypus. These are parasitic queens, as I think I already mentioned. Their method is very interesting because it's none of this, slow takeover crap. They barge right into the host colony and rip the queen apart. If they can find her. They're not usually all that successful. The ones that are, though, go on to make more colonies of these, and they go on to make something like 10 times as many alates as their host species would, which they have to do to remain successful. The difference between Lasius latipus and Lasius murphyi is facial hair, which I'm not seeing on this one. Also, this queen's a little dark, much darker than I'm used to seeing. Yeah. Lasius murphyi has like a bit of orange scruff on the, right on the face, like right above the mandibles, between the eyes. I don't know what that's used for. They both have the same method of parasitization. And usually these queens are like a robust red color. This is the darkest one of these I've ever found. So I'm wondering if we have that third species that also looks like these around here. I may have to look that up. But anyway. Oh, and I need a correction. While I was making the videos for this episode, the Solenopsis Molesta, the ones that have black gasters, turns out that's not a nematode, that's actually a fungal infection. But the result is still the same. The queen is incapable of laying eggs, colony slowly dwindles away. Doesn't seem... I mean, it's clearly contagious, but I don't know when it would be able to spread. Because in colonies you'll see even some of the workers seem to have it. And I'd always been puzzled about that with nematodes, because like, how do you fit the same one inside of a worker that you do as a queen? Because workers are really tiny. But James Traeger, he actually corrected me on this. He's something of a world-renowned expert on all things Solenopsis, Formica, and several other genera. So, special thanks to him. Let's see. Yeah, so anyway, if you have a queen with black gaster of Solenopsis Molesta, you should probably quarantine her and get her away from the other ones. I don't know how badly it spreads. It doesn't, like, I'm seeing colonies with, some of the queens have it and some of the queens don't. So, I mean, it can't be that bad if the entire colony isn't already infected with some sort of a fungal spore infection. So, yeah, I don't know how that works. These things are not always that well spread. It's probably a different species, but I know when the red imported fire ant, Solenopsis invicta, started becoming a thing, a biological control was actually to release a species of this fungus from their native Brazil into North America to help at least put a dent in their population, which I don't believe it has done. So, you know, these things, it's not the end of the world if you have one. With this ant here, she's in the family Formicinia, and I'm really realizing her acetopore, a little tuft of hairs, it almost looks like a stinger, right at the tip of the gaster, is in very, very good shape there, if she would like to turn around or climb a little higher. Yeah, see that tuft of hairs? That helps them, like, shoot citronella, well, in this case citronella, a type of formic acid that smells like citronella. They spray that. It's not really ant mace, but it's yeah, it's actually formic acid. But anyway, she's getting out of here, so am I. Anyway, all right. So I am just a little bit early today with the black light because it just got dark, and I decided, well, there's things still in the air flying. I'm curious how early it is before they show up. But also, there is a parasitic Lasius flying. I don't know if this is actually Lasius claviger, but it looks like it to me, which is odd because I usually see Lasius claviger flying in the what is it, like October. Yeah, way late kind of thing. So I'm thinking this is one of the other species you don't usually hear about too much. I know there are quite a few of them, but the problem is I don't really know how to identify them. There's actually a really nice study with a bunch of keys out there. So maybe if I can, like, pause the video or something, I can see how hairy the legs are and everything like that, all the neat features there. Yeah, she is trying to get out of here. I hear her, I can actually feel her, like, little mandibles pinching at my fingerprints there. Doesn't really hurt or anything. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, let's get a good shot of that. Yeah, she's trying to, yeah, just clean under the nail there. Good. Well, actually, she's managing to get free quite nicely here. But anyway, this is a social parasite, so she has to take over another colony. I wish I had collected that Lasius neoniger colony at my friend Victor's house when I was in Pennsylvania, but that would have been illegal to bring her over here. We're losing a wing, actually, I see. Now, let me put you down here. Change of plans. It is actually downpouring outside, so no more blackleading tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.